to start everything off, we've got quite a few people here who are new to the Stereoscopic Society, so I've got a little video that I'm going to play, which is only a minute long and should give you a nice little insight into who we are and what we do.
Right next to Euston Station is a club I love, the Stereoscopic Society. We're a bunch of 3D enthusiasts and we all meet here once a month in St Pancras Church Hall. We share tips, tricks and quite a few cups of tea. One of the main activities at our club is watching digital slideshows. We've just celebrated our 125th birthday, so recently we've been looking at quite a few images from the past. Usually we view work by present-day members, and much of this is created using handmade rigs, hacked equipment. After the screens, it's brilliant to be able to talk to the authors about their work. I mean, I've just learnt so much. Oh my God, that was amazing. I hope you've enjoyed this little film about our club. I just love coming here. It feels to me almost like looking at a 3D photo. The outside world just disappears.
Very good, Kate. Is she with us today? I haven't noticed.
Helps if I unmute myself, doesn't it? Now you can all hear me. But to the co-hosts, when the videos are playing, I think you all need to turn off your cameras, otherwise YouTube's showing them over the top of bits. So
Yeah.
To my fellow co-hosts, please.
Okay, yes, try and remember to do that.
And microphones as well, please.
Yeah.
I'll start again. Now I've remembered to put both my picture and... there you go. How's that? Fine. I've got a picture and a microphone. So, welcome, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that little introduction video to the Stereoscopic Society. And without further ado, I'll hand over to our Society Chairman, Mr. Jeff Pogram.
Thank you very much, Andrew. This is an amazing situation we have with over 100 people. I think it's marvellous. We've had some problems in the last year with meetings. The people in the society, committee members, have pulled everything together and kept the society going with the Zoom meeting. And I think it's an applaud to them all for what they've done. A lot of people have contributed to this. And Andrew has had to adapt his normal way of organising the convention into this Zoom meeting, and I applaud him for that. So welcome to everybody. We've got people from all sorts of parts of the world, America, Canada, Spain, Europe, and so on. And now you're all very welcome. I hope you're going to enjoy the evening, and I shan't say any more, otherwise it'll be getting very boring. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Jeff. There you go. So thank you very much, Jeff. And so this evening, what we've done very often on the Friday evening at the conventions is have an AV5 competition. And to tell us all about that, I'll hand over to Mike Hilliard, who's the London projectionist for the Society and also the coordinator of the AV group. So there you go, hand over to Mike.
Thanks, Andrew. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the AV5 competition for 2021. Barry Aldous introduced AV5 to the convention some years back to encourage members to try their hand at making 3D audio-visual shows. The idea being to enter a show of up to 5 minutes, with the audience voting to determine the winner. It proved fun and popular, and is now a regular feature of the convention. The shows may contain still images or video clips, or a combination of both, and they can have background music and commentary, titles, and other effects. The showmakers will have to have mastered the use of one or more of these slide or video editing software suites, such as Photodex Pro Show, Magic's Movie Edit, Sony Vegas Movie Studio, Pictures to XE, Cyberlink Power Director, and so on. Well, we know from the success of our themed meeting programs at London and Coventry that an increasing number of members are giving AV showmaking a try. Today we've got 8 entries, and we will ask you, the Zoom audience, to judge them. At the end of the showing, Andrew will do an on-screen survey to establish the winner. When he puts the form up for you, please just click 1, which is your favourite. Meanwhile, can I remind you that we'll be sharing the shows in side-by-side parallel format, so you need a 3D viewer, prismatic glasses, or to reduce your sharing window to a suitable size for free viewing. The running time of the programme is around 35 minutes, and it'll be necessary for everybody to be muted during the shows, as Andrew has mentioned. Please turn off your cameras during the shows to save distracting others in the audience. Okay, over to you, Andrew. Right, well, after that little intro, the first show, this is Kelpec by Bob Price, and it's an essay on the remarkable Norman Church of St Mary and St David in Kelpec, close to the Welsh border in Herefordshire.
Towards the south of the English-Welsh border, southwest of Hereford, lies the small village of Kelpec, dating from Saxon times. In the north of the village, and just east of the remains of the Norman Motte and Bailey Castle, is the small Norman church of St Mary and St David. This small but remarkable church was built around 1140. It has some wonderful sandstone sculptures, in particular its magnificent south door and some 85 corbels on the outside supporting the roof. These and other interior sculptures are fine examples of the Herefordshire school of Romanesque sculpture. But this church was built on the site of a much earlier Saxon church, which was known to exist in 650 AD, 400 years before. This medium of stereophotographs will be used to enhance our appreciation of Kelpec's south door and other sculptures. But first the interior with its classic Norman chancel arch and sculptured side pillars, and at the east end the apse has an unusual four-headed roof boss. Next, the south door and its wonderful sculptured images, and then some of the 85 corbels of bestiality and gentleness. We have already seen the sculptures on the left-hand pillar of the south door. On the top of the right-hand pillar is the face of a green man. The arch and its tympanum is highly decorated, with a variety of images, and the tympanum itself has a representation of the tree of life. focusing on the corbels around the edge of the roof, from above the south door, round by the eastern apse, to the north side and back to the west side with its corbels and monster heads. Some of the corbels are rather bestial, and some are more amusing. On the south side of the apse, there is a voluptuous Sheila and a gig in the left corner. On the east end of the apse, there is a very friendly rabbit and dog corbel. Towards the apse's north side, we have a musician and dancers, etc., etc.
Right, well, that's the first show. The second show is a comprehensive guide to the cats of Kingston, this by David Ford. And this covers the amazing range of cats that live in Kingston. Those seeing this show can decide if Kingston is the cat capital of our kingdom.
Kingston enjoys a great variety of cats, noted for their many different colours. This one is vaguely pink and white, black and white, striped brown, all black, white with a dash of brown, ginger. Some cats look like their bigger relatives that roam the plains of Africa. This is a leopard, and this a small lion. Very furry cats are another common feature among Kingston cats. And some are extremely furry. The cats are willing to take on responsibilities, and here are some looking after local dustbins. And this one, 2 dustbins. Others act like hotel doormen, ready to greet you. While others wait at the end of their drive to make you feel welcome. Cats frequently use windowsills as a good location for keeping guard over their owner's property. Others would rather do the same thing by sitting in the comfort of their own home. Occasionally, this responsibility falls to siblings. The occasional cat has taken up Pilates. Some of the cats are off duty and willing to take a rest. Or occasionally sit up. Quite a number of Kingston cats are noted for being rather shy. Or perhaps this is social distancing during lockdown. This cat is attempting to climb a wall, and this one has spotted something rather special. As you might expect, Kingston has a 5-star hotel for cats, and many residents so love their cats that they have statues of them in the front garden. Often rather grand statues of cats are placed on pillars outside their house. And real cats practice doing the same thing. Some cats are happy to pose for photographs, while others clear off as soon as they see me coming. I can take a hint, so I will stop now. Toodle pip.
Right. Well, the third show is entitled An Unlikely Walk, and this is from Frank Lorenz. It was photographed in the woods of what was the mountainous border between the German Democratic Republic and the Federal Republic of Germany.
Let me take you on a walk in the Harz Mountains. We'll go into the woods. There are trees left and right. It is peaceful here. Except that until 1989 you would have entered through this gate. Here was the border between the German Democratic Republic and the Federal Republic of Germany. Or rather, you would not have entered. And if you had, you would have been spotted right away. Directly after the gate, a dog run facility. The way to the actual border is long, almost a mile. The trees look much gloomier now. Careful, there are tripwires between them, and they are moved regularly. Finally, you reach the watchtower. A simple concrete structure, 11 meters high, equipped with a searchlight. Further on, the border fence. On the other side, West Germany, freedom. The border marked with a stone, from the other side otherwise completely unguarded. Between you and the fence there are no trees, nowhere to hide. And if you are spotted, you are shot. Also the fence itself was quite dangerous. For 12 years it was equipped with mines. Their detonation was almost certainly deadly.
Right, well, next is the Leicestershire Victory Show, this by Ian Hasty. A World War II reenactment of the D-Day landings and beyond, also the 75th anniversary of Arnhem. Right. Well, show number 5 is about North Mims Park, and that's by me, Mike Hilliard. It's a visit to a late Elizabethan stately home with some of the history behind it. This is the pictorial story of a visit to North Mims Park in June 2011, when it was opened to the public in support of the Red Cross. North Mims Park is situated in Hertfordshire, roughly 6 miles east of St Albans and 4 miles south of Hatfield. The present house was built in the final years of the reign of Elizabeth I in what is now called the Jacobean style, for Sir Ralph Coningsby, High Sheriff of Hertfordshire. The manor of North Mims can be traced back to the Norman conquest and included several smaller manors which became separated off in the 13th and 14th centuries. The Swanland family were the owners in the 14th century and were responsible for building North Mims Church around 1340. That did not include the tower, which was added in the 15th century. Bought in 1428 by Sir Thomas Knollys, a Lord Mayor of London, the manor passed by marriage through Elizabeth Frowick to John Coningsby around 1530. His grandson Sir Ralph Coningsby demolished the old manor house, which was located close to the church, and built the Elizabethan building that we see today. Sir Ralph was a supporter of Charles I and answered the King's call to rally the county of Hertfordshire to his cause. Cromwell had him arrested and put in the Tower of London. The house was ransacked. Eventually he was released and his property restored. In 1658 the manor was sold and passed through the hands of several owners, including the Dukes of Leeds. Baron Greville in the 19th century was responsible for the addition of the corridors and copper-clad ogee-capped towers to the east and west wings. The Burns family owned the manor for much of the 20th century, including during World War II, when it served as a Red Cross hospital for wounded servicemen. Strong links to the Red Cross have continued up to the present. After some 25 years of ownership by GlaxoSmithKline as a training and conference facility, the manor is now an events venue hosting weddings, dinners, ceremonies and seminars. Right, well, next we have Paper Universe, and this by Peter and Andy Raven. And Peter and Andy say it's a creative way to trip to the stars, and also of getting around our 9 p.m. Corona lockdown curfew. Right, now we come to show number 7, the Caithness Self-Lift Chair by Ray Macmillan. And I don't think I'll give the show away in advance with this one.
The Bower in Bexhill-on-Sea provides a quiet life for people who are shattered after years of mortal strife, a care home for the elderly where no one seems to care, and recently the test bed for the Caithness Self-Lift Chair. The patron and the matron, one a major, one a nurse, think old ladies are appalling and old men are even worse. They need helping, they need lifting, and there isn't cash to spare. So they've swapped a girl called Tricia for the Caithness Self-Lift Chair. The old folks at the Bower all liked Tricia. She was nice. She listened to their stories, though she'd heard them once or twice. But now she's gone. The lounge is quiet. The inmates sit and stare until suddenly a noise comes from the Caithness Self-Lift Chair. Mrs. Mould is not what social services call sprightly. She just sits and watches Countdown and shouts at Richard Whiteley. But suddenly she's flying in a shower of underwear, propelled across the ceiling by the Caithness Self-Lift Chair. The others watch her progress as her mighty knickers snag on the sharp, undusted antlers of a taxidermied stag. They exchange conspiring glances. Can they do it? Do they dare? For the Bower bought a dozen of the Caithness Self-Lift Chair. They open all the windows, move the chairs across the floor, apart from one that Mrs. Thomas jams against the door. Each one sits and faces freedom and says a silent prayer. Lord, carry me away now on my Caithness Self-Lift Chair. One by one the chairs spring into life and pensioners are hurled across the cliffs of Bexhill to return to the real world. Mrs. Roberts' chute has opened. She has landed on the beach. She's joined by all the others. They enjoy a wine gum each. They unfold their pack-up zimmers and they turn to face the Bower and they shout out, "Sod off, matron," in a voice of awesome power. The inmates of the Bower, free from care and free as air, unchained from sheltered living by the Caithness Self-Lift Chair.
Right, well, we're on to number 8 now, The Whispering Tulips of Morges 2021 by David Wood. Every spring, the Swiss lakeside town of Morges shows off its tulips. David takes us on a walk around the town with his mask on, of course. Well, that completes the AV5 programme for 2021. And I'll hand back to Andrew now for arranging the judging.
Right, thank you, Mike. Just, bear with me a second. Apologies if there were some squeaky pops coming over on the audio on some of those shows. I think that's the Zoom video place. It seems to have a bit of a quirk in it. I thought it was an open. I thought it was an open microphone at first, but it didn't appear to be. Right, so thank you to all the show makers. There's some wonderful shows there. What we're going to ask you to do is, like we had earlier on with the little poll on screen about which country you were in, I'm going to do a similar one with 8 choices of all the different shows that you've just seen, and all you have to do is click the one that you thought was your favourite and then hit the submit at the bottom. If I get it right, I'm not going to show you the results. I'm going to just announce the winner. So off you go. Just click the one that you thought was your favourite, please. And then hit submit at the bottom. Everybody managed to do that? I think the statistics have calmed down. Yeah, I think that's pretty much a clear winner. Now I'll just bear with me a second and I will announce who the winner was. I don't think it'll take too much of a guess. Just let me see if I can find him. Hope you enjoyed them all. And here we are. The winner is Ray McMillan. Do you want to unmute yourself, Ray? I think there you go.
Try that.
So the case chair.
I'm dead chuffed to say the least. Thank you.
It's not the first time you've won, is it, Ray?
No, it isn't true, but just anybody who lives down the south coast, it talks about this on the seaside, at Bexhill or whatever. I must admit the actual structure is in Saltburn and Teesside, but it fitted the bill, no doubt. I had great fun making the show and rather enjoyed the result.
Yeah, all worked very well. Is that a lot of your local camera club photographs you've utilised?
No, it's Redcar Beach, but most of the folks are in fact from Troisdorf in Germany, who were on a visit to us on a town exchange visit.
Very good. That's excellent. You're up to your usual tricks, isn't it? We're going to see some of your other winning entries from previous years in the second half when we show some of the other winners.
Oh, right.
You've got a couple in there as well, but yeah, thank you very much.
I'm embarrassed now.
I'll let you go hide.
Hey. I make some tea now.
Yeah, turn your camera back off. There you go. So if you bear with us a second, I'm going to hand over to Stephen O'Neill, who's going to just introduce a little interlude. We're going to come back and show you some of the winning shows from previous years of the AV5s, but in between we're just going to show the first of one of the ISU code shows. So to explain what the ISU is and what a code show is all about, here's Stephen O'Neill.
Hello everyone. So the idea is that we were sharing videos that were sent all over the world. I can hear my voice is echoing somewhere. I'm not sure what I need to turn off. But originally what we did was we had a little form and our slide, and we sent this around the world, and people wrote their, just about it. They wrote their comments on the slides, and then it was sent on to the next country, and they did the same. And it was going around the world to about 6 to 8 different countries. Unfortunately, it took a long time. It took about 18 months to get all the way around. Lots of postage costs, of course. So we came up with the idea of having a digital folio. And I put the shows together every 6 months. The images are collected the end of March and the end of September from ISU member clubs. The ISU is an international club, and there are individual members and clubs that belong to it. And the clubs can participate and send in up to 10 images plus their club logo. And I put a show together, which is usually in 3 parts. In the meantime, we've got between 21 and about 25 clubs. And this is part 1 of one of those shows. This was made a year ago. And that's it, basically. If somebody would like to join the folio, a club that's not already in the folio, then please contact me, or you can contact Andrew and he'll send it on to me. It'd be nice to have some more clubs in the folio. Okay, that's fine. That's all from me for the moment.
Thank you, Stephen. So what I'm going to do now is show the first of the latest code shows, or one of the last code shows, actually not the latest one. This is code 25 part A, and we'll have the other 2 parts over the rest of the weekend. Thank you very much. So thank you, Stephen, for... I'm just checking that I've got Stephen looking at me on my screen. I'm wondering if you could all see me for a minute. So it's yes. So thanks for that. So Stephen puts in a lot of hard work putting the code shows together. But it's thanks to everybody around the world taking all the wonderful photographs more than anything, and we all get to enjoy them.
Thank you to everybody for their images. It's great to see them each time.
So what we're going to do now is have a look back at some of the previous years of AV5 winners, and just bear with me a second while I find the first one, and I'll remember which ones I got first. So believe it or not, this is another Ray McMillan winning show from 2014, one of his earlier works, and this one's simply called George.
It was a lovely spring day in April at George the Knight's impressive house. George had decided to hold a spring fair for the local villagers. Travelling musicians were brought up in front of the hall. Their wagon had many instruments to impress the villagers, and all of the latest songs and tunes to make the occasion a grand affair. Practice makes perfect, they say. Stalls were erected to sell goods, and a wood fire was made ready here for various cooked refreshments. A Fletcher honed his skills ready for a demonstration. And a piper took up the mood of the day as the villagers began to arrive. George was happy to see all was in hand, so he decided to take a morning ride as usual. "Fetch my horse," he commanded. The dark stallion was duly presented, and George set off around his estate grounds. From his nearby castle, the Black Knight decided to take his chances and capture the villagers. He galloped in, terrifying them all. The Black Knight herded them all together and gloated over his spoils behind his evil mask. But George had seen the trouble, and he came galloping back to take on the Black Knight. George was slowly gaining the upper hand. With the Black Knight out of the way, George expected no more trouble. But the villagers were fleeing from a new terror. The fearsome dragon that had plagued the whole of England for many years was coming to feed on a sacrifice of human flesh once more. The dragon spotted his next plump meal and turned to attack the helpless victim. All seemed lost as he closed in for the kill. However, our hero George galloped into battle once more, scoring a glancing blow to the dragon's neck. The infuriated dragon fought back in the time-honoured fashion, But he was no match for George, whose lance dealt a fatal blow, and the dragon was dispatched. The intended victim was overjoyed to have survived his ordeal. The villagers rushed in to ensure that the dragon was indeed dead. Much celebration followed, and soon all England heard about George's great victory. George was declared a saint, and his legacy lives on to this day.
Thank you, Ray. Wonderful show there. Very, very amusing. I know everybody always enjoyed that on the night when it was judged. So I'm going to skip around. Excuse me. I'm going to skip around some of the years. So this next one's from 2017. And this was by Bob Price, who was one of our members who comes to the Coventry meetings and does some wonderful close-up shows all about insects and flowers and things like that. So this one is An Imperial Journey.
These young 1 centimetre long emperor moth caterpillars are about to embark on a 2.5-week journey from mid-May to June of staged transformations or instars until the final shedding of the 4th instar skin to give the mature caterpillar, shown here in a time-lapse sequence. 2 weeks further on, this mature caterpillar builds a cocoon between twigs and pupates. Then we wait until the following May, some 10.5 months later, until a beautiful male emperor moth emerges. This sequence, over 1 hour and 20 minutes, is shown here in about 1 minute. Next spring, this newly emerged male emperor moth has to fill out its wings.
Hope you all enjoyed that one. It's some beautiful work that Bob's done over the years with his different shows, and we'll have another one tomorrow afternoon from Bob. So the next one, that year in 2017, was actually a tie in the results for the AV5 competition. So as well as Bob Price winning with the Imperial Journey show that you've just seen, Mary Paul also won with Water Water Everywhere. Another lovely show there. That was Mary Paul's Water, Water Everywhere. That was, if that was 2017, I think it was the winter 2016, 2017 when we had huge floods across the country. So next one, I'm jumping back a little bit. This is now 2015. And you'll realise why, because Ray McMillan won again in 2015. So I thought I'd spread him around a little bit for your enjoyment. So this one was At the Movies.
Ready? Are your pictures flat and boring? Then see them in glorious 3D. Why not join the Stereoscopic Society? You know it makes sense.
I'll do some toast for breakfast. The toast is chasing me. Quickly, close the kitchen door.
Something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! If there's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Thank you again to Ray for another great show. That one is sort of a montage of lots of cinema advertising material along with some other comical bits. But I'm sure whichever country you're in, you recognise that kind of little adverts that they'd have when you're at the cinema. So next is 2019 winner Roy Ashcroft gives us A Walk in the Park.
Close to this spot, near the village of Earl Sterndale, are the best little hills in Derbyshire, Park House and Crome Hill. The appearance of Park House looks very inviting on the walk-in, but I shall bypass it to tackle Crome Hill first, then climb Park House from the far side. Whilst ascending Crome Hill, the attractive profile of Park House is better revealed, together with the pleasing panorama over the Upper Dove Valley. From the top of Crome Hill looking west, it is clear why this ridge is called the Dragon's Back. The ascent of Park House from the Crome Hill end is a great little scramble, and with some careful exertion the top is soon reached. I would not describe this as a strenuous walk, but climbing both these hills will have whetted your appetite for a drink in Earl Sterndale's only hostelry, the Quiet Woman. A previous landlord decided to silence his wife, but she had the last laugh and came back to haunt him. For many climbers, the mere mention of Skye will conjure up images of Sliggerhan and the Coolin Hills, whose alpine-like ridge is so highly regarded. However, in the northwest corner of the island, there is a rather more accessible attraction, the Quiraing. On the Trottenish peninsula of Skye, the Quiraing is located in the vicinity of the Store Rocks and the basalt columns of the Kilt Rock. Its existence is the result of a series of landslips which have left a cluster of rock pinnacles and grass-covered rock tables. To reach the Quiraing, a path ascends from a convenient car park to a large rock formation ahead on the right called the Prison. At this point, a steep path on the left provides access into the Quiraing itself, eventually leading into some airy and eerie locations amongst the rock pinnacles. There was some slight respite when a grassy flat top was reached, but the light was fading fast and our descent urgently beckoned. The Quiraing store and the surrounding area are unique and especially colourful and dramatic in late autumn. This area should not be missed if you are a walker and plan to visit Skye. Now for Snowdonia and the ascent of Snowdon via Cribgoch. Take the pig track from the car park at Penny Pass, but immediately turn left by this fence into an area I know as the Horns. Simply follow the same fence until the pig track is joined at the foot of Cribgoch. Our objectives, the dominant pyramid of Cribgoch, is always in sight, as are other aspects of the Snowdon Horseshoe. The walk over the Horns is far more rewarding than the bypassing pig track, but the starting point for the hard climb to the summit of Cribgoch itself is the same whichever route you choose. This is the summit view of Cribgoch's West Ridge, I had been told this was a walk in the park, but the reality was different. The drop on the north side of the ridge is close to vertical for over 400 feet, and on the south side somewhat steeper than the photographs suggest. The traverse of the ridge is hardly a walk at all, now classified as a scramble with some serious exposure. Naturally, my first concern was self-preservation, but neither did I wish to lose my recently acquired Stereoscopic on its first outing. Despite some misgivings, my walking companions were exhilarated by the traverse, and we completed our ascent of Snowdon in glorious sunshine. Now, I do appreciate that our crossing of Cribgoch took place in the 1960s, and that attitudes to risk have since changed quite markedly. For me, the crossing of Cribgoch was, and still is, a walk in the park to remember.
Thank you, Roy. It was a fantastic show. It's nice to see all the outdoors, which I'm sure everybody's been missing over the last 12 months. So I've got one last show as one of the winners, because I don't think it would be quite right not to finish without showing you once again the winner of this year's show, Ray McMillan's The Caithness Chair.
The Bower in Bexhill-on-Sea provides a quiet life for people who are shattered after years of mortal strife, a care home for the elderly where no one seems to care, and recently the test bed for the Caithness self-lift chair. The patron and the matron, one a major, one a nurse, think old ladies are appalling and old men are even worse. They need helping, they need lifting, and there isn't cash to spare. So they've swapped a girl called Tricia for the Caithness self-lift chair. The old folks at the Bower all liked Tricia. She was nice. She listened to their stories, though she'd heard them once or twice. But now she's gone. The lounge is quiet. The inmates sit and stare until suddenly a noise comes from the Caithness self-lift chair. Mrs. Mould is not what social services call sprightly. She just sits and watches Countdown and shouts at Richard Whiteley. But suddenly she's flying in a shower of underwear, propelled across the ceiling by the Caithness self-lift chair. The others watch her progress as her mighty knickers snag on the sharp, undusted antlers of a taxidermied stag. They exchange conspiring glances. Can they do it? Do they dare? For the Bower bought a dozen of the Caithness self-lift chair. They open all the windows, move the chairs across the floor, apart from one that Mrs. Thomas jams against the door. Each one sits and faces freedom and says a silent prayer. Lord, carry me away now on my Caithness self-lift chair. One by one the chairs spring into life and pensioners are hurled across the cliffs of Bexhill to return to the real world. Mrs. Roberts' chute has opened. She has landed on the beach. She's joined by all the others. They enjoy a wine gum each. They unfold their pack-up zimmers and they turn to face the Bower and they shout out, "Sod off, matron," in a voice of awesome power. The inmates of the Bower, free from care and free as air, unchained from sheltered living by the Caithness self-lift chair.
Thank you to everybody there. That's all the shows for this evening. Congratulations to Ray for winning yet again this year, and also to the other winners from the previous years. Hope you all enjoyed these shows. what I'm going to do in a minute is let Colin Metherell just say a few words about the society, and then I'll come back and say what's happening tomorrow. What we could do is, if anybody does have any questions for the showmakers that are here with us this evening, there's so many of you, I'm not going to be able to see a waving hands. There is a raise your hand feature in the participants. If you can click on that, I'll be able to see who's got a question, if anybody has, and I'll be able to enable your microphones. Otherwise, so Timo in Finland, straight in there. You there, Timo?
Hi.
Hi. So go ahead. What's your question?
No, I didn't have any question. Just say hello.
Oh, okay. Hello. Very good of you. Yeah, it's good to see you from Finland. We've got people from all over.
Yeah, I thought that it was just about to wave hands like hello.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm with you.
I understood not right.
Not a problem. So, no, it's nice you to come and join us.
Yeah.
I know you did come to the Nottingham Convention, and then we see you at the ISU congresses.
Yeah. Very nice. Very much thank you to all you who organized this. Very nice.
That's okay. No problem at all. So just see if there's anybody else got any actual questions for the showmakers. So we've got Kate Sullivan. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was clapping. That's a clap icon.
Oh, sorry.
Applauding the organisers. Sorry.
Yeah. I looked at the webcam instead of the participants' view. Not to worry. So
Amazing, thank you.
No problem.
Lovely. Especially, it's really transporting, and I think shows at our club always are, but it's especially appreciated at this moment when we're not getting out much. So, yeah, thank you.
We showed your little video at the beginning as well. I'm not sure if you were.
Oh gosh, I didn't realise I was doing some work. I didn't realise. Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a nice little introduction for everybody. So thanks for making that.
No, well, I couldn't have made it without people like you and Mike giving me so much advice, and people like John helping shoot it, and Mary helping Dana. Everyone helped. So, do you know what I mean? Anyway. Yeah, thank you.
No problem at all.
I'll mute myself now. Hang on.
What I'll do is I'll ask Colin to just say a few words, and then I'll come back and explain what's happening tomorrow, and then I'll stop the recordings and the YouTube, and we'll have a bit of a social chat, just free for all, and I'll dare to open the mics and see what happens. But for starters, I'll hand over to Colin Metherell, and is the president of the Stereoscopic Society. So if you'd like to.
Hi everyone. Nice to see so many people joining us. We've got 99 people on the line at the moment, and I don't know how many more live on YouTube, but thank you all for coming. It's been great to see you. We've had some really nice shows, so thank you, Andrew, for all the work you've done to set this up, because I know it's been quite a task to get it going. Andrew advertised the convention widely, not just our own members, but to more widely members, to people who are non-members. And quick commercial about society, joining the Stereoscopic Society if you're interested. We used to try and meet every month in London over the winter from October to April, and also in Coventry and also in Edinburgh. But recently we haven't been doing that, so we've been meeting online for the last year or so. But one of the advantages of membership is you get 4 journals a year, and with a bit of luck you might be able to see some of these if I jiggle them about a bit. About 50 pages each journal, 4 a year, one or two anaglyph pictures, mainly side by side. And what have we got here? Some butterflies and things. Or it's difficult to see, really. Anyway, a very interesting journal, and you'll get 4 copies of that a year. At the moment, our subscription is half price, which for UK members is a princely sum of £10.50p. It's a little bit more if you're all further afield, because of postage costs and things like that. But it's a pretty good bargain price for the journal, and a chance to chat to people. And we hope to continue the online meetings so that we can chat to people abroad or all around the world. So if you're not a member already, speak to Mary Paul, is our membership secretary, and if you contact her, I'm sure she would send you an application form. Anyway, that's all I have to say. So we're back to Andrew now. Thanks for listening anyway.
Oh, sorry, I was just reading my journal. Thanks, Colin. What I'll just quickly explain is tomorrow, UK time, British summer time, at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, we start again. And because of the time zones moving around during the day, we've got the opportunity to join up with the Sydney Club in Australia. So we'll have the President Carlton Wright giving us a historical talk of the early Australian stereo photographers. And there's also a connection with the Australian clubs in the past, that they're actually offshoots from the overseas folios that the Stereoscopic Society used to send around from the early 1900s. So we'll have a little chat about that. And then one of our own members, Derek Medhurst, is giving us a talk about his own personal collection of stereo cards. Then in the second hour, we're going to move on to more technical subjects. And Barry Aldous has done a wonderful show showing all the things he's been getting up to, explaining his work in 3D, from close-up photography, time-lapse photography, and using a whole range of different cameras and adapters and homemade sort of slide bars and time equipment. There's also got some sequences using a splash machine that is sort of freezing drops of liquid in time. So it's a wonderful little show that he's put together, and he'll be able to explain or answer some of the 1 or 2 questions in the morning. Then also Colin Metherell's going to just talk through what he's done for some time-lapse shows as well. But also we've got a new member, John Chapman, who we've known for a few years, who's come to our Bury 3D meetings, and he's a stereo microscopist and is very well been into sort of the microscope field for his work for many years, and then interested in his retirement years getting more into the 3D side of things. So he's going to explain how to do 3D photography under the microscope. So that's tomorrow morning starting at 10 o'clock British summertime. In the afternoon, we've got a second session at 2 o'clock, and that is with one of our members, Tim Goldsmith, who will be explaining the history of VistaScreen, which is the little stereo cards that later went on to be included with the Weetabix packets. I'm sure you all know the tale of a certain rock star who was inspired by the Weetabix packets and has gone on to be quite a thing within the 3D book publication world. So that's in the afternoon, and then we'll finish tomorrow afternoon with a few more of the shows like we've had just now, so another half hour or so. What I've also got is a little surprise session, 6:30 tomorrow evening. Tim Goldsmith has put together a little 3D quiz. So it'll be about an hour-long meeting, and if you want to just come along, a bit of social, light-hearted, answering questions to yourself, and then Tim will give out the answers, and we'll be able to have a little sort of social chat as we go along and afterwards. So that's a bit of a new thing. If you check the Society website, I've popped it in the schedule there. It was one of those last minute things. We weren't dead certain whether it was going to have time to put the quiz together, but thankfully he's managed to prepare a talk and prepare a quiz. So many thanks to Tim for doing all that. So I think that's more or less it for announcements and this evening. I'll close off the YouTube stream and stop recording and dare to open the mics and let you all have a chat for half an hour or so.